Update. Yes, my 20F, mom, 33F, and boyfriend, 24M, confirmed that they had a past relationship. So, a much more sober update. I definitely wasn't handling this well last post, but it was a lot to suddenly process all at once and I turned to some unhealthy means to cope. My bad. The long and short of it turned out to be yes. My mom said that met my boyfriend at a social event and they hit it off well enough to start dating when he was 20 and she was 29. I was 16 and old enough to be a lot more independent at the time, and both my mom and my boyfriend were at the point in their lives where they were being young adults with a lot less responsibility than they were used to. At the point where they decided to break up was when my boyfriend hit the age where he could legally buy alcohol and she hit 30. The way that they both explained it was that they had been in similar phases in life for a while but that they could see that ending. They both wanted to be a bit more carefree for a while, but she thought that at the point where he might want to settle down and consider starting a family that she was going to be past the age where it was possible for her to do that with him. She said that she felt that he was going to be under the gun to either settle down with her earlier than he was ready to settle down, or have to miss out on having a family and doing the normal thing if he decided to wait. Mom emphasized that he never saw pictures of me and probably had no idea that we were related, much less mother and daughter. My boyfriend basically confirmed everything that my mother said and was very apologetic. Mom said she felt pretty guilty because even at the time she said she was thinking that he was more appropriate for someone my age instead of her age, but frankly he was age appropriate for either of us due to the circumstances. I brought him over for dinner this past weekend. There was some initial awkwardness, but we got past that and I think that he and my mom are getting along as friends. While there is just the tiniest bit of sexual tension that I can detect, I am fully confident that neither my mom nor my boyfriend are going to be messing around behind my back. It's just kind of there because they were together in a relationship for almost as long as he and I have been. Dinner went well after the initial awkwardness, and I managed to cut the tension a little bit by joking that at least everyone present had excellent taste in relationship partners. They laughed. It was a risky joke to make, but at least we're at a point where we can laugh. So we've all just sort of moved on and kept going. No idea where it goes from here, but I think on this front it's more or less resolved for the moment. I'm not breaking up with him and I'm not mad at my mom, and I don't think that anyone has to have any kind of weird guilt over it since nobody did anything inappropriate. Thanks for putting up with my weird rambling. Honestly, this is way too messy. Sexual tension? You're only 20, don't settle for lifelong discomfort when you can find literally anyone else who hasn't gotten involved with your mom as a partner. Weird to think about my partner having some sexual relationship with my mom. I'd be gone. While there is just the tiniest bit of sexual tension that I can detect. If you're okay with sexual tension between your mom and boyfriend for the rest of your life, go right on ahead lol. Just go find a boyfriend who's never banged your mom. It's not hard, she hasn't banged all of them. Maybe read this lol. Opening square bracket dot. Her mom was having sex with her husband, and her mom's children were not her dad's kids but her husband's. So some of her siblings were actually stepchildren, half-siblings. While there is just the tiniest bit of sexual tension that I can detect, I am fully confident that neither my mom nor my boyfriend are going to be messing around behind my back. Nope. Continuing this relationship is a horrible idea, especially since you can detect there's still attraction between your boyfriend and your mother. Gross. Do not kid yourself that they would never betray you. Their relationship predates yours. One drunken night when you're not around and you don't know what may happen. It's just creepy all around. Would you want your future kids to find out dad dated grandma? There's plenty of other men for you date that have never slept with your mother. Move on. Should I let my son's 18 male, pregnant girlfriend live with us even if he doesn't want her to? My son's girlfriend is a few months pregnant. Recently her parents kicked her out. I've been considering letting her live with us since my son is partially responsible for this and it is his baby. My son doesn't want her living with us, for no reason other than the fact she's still having the baby even though he didn't want her to. He's threatening to move out if she moves in, so I'm not entirely sure what to do in this situation. She's pregnant with your grandchild and has nowhere to go and no parental support. Your son is half responsible for this happening. I think it would be very good of you to let her move in. He can move out if he likes. Where is your son going to go if he moves out? This sounds like an empty threat by him. Tell your son you thought you raised him better than this and that she is moving in and he can leave if he wants to. Yes. Let her move in and let him move out. He's being a jerk, and I'm sure she would appreciate the support. So, he didn't want to keep the baby. Did he offer to pay for the abortion or offer to take responsibility in any way at all? This is a teachable moment for him. Son, this is why condoms are a thing. This little baby did not ask to be born. You called the child into being by not being safe. This is not a do-over situation, and now you have to help take responsibility for it. You can move out if you like, but you're still going to get attached for child support and the like because you are the father. Would you want your grandchild living on the street or in a shelter? Because essentially you're not just turning away a girl that your son doesn't want around. You're turning away your grandchild, potentially, and your grandchild's mother. Who gives a shit what your son wants? That's what happens when you get someone pregnant. All your wants go out the window and now everything is about giving that baby the best life possible. With them being so young, you as future grandparents are most likely going to almost be secondary parents and caretakers to this child, unfortunately. I got chlamydia and me, 23F, and my boyfriend, 24M, have been together for 2+ YRS. Well, today, May 23rd, I got a call from my gynecologist saying I tested positive for chlamydia. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 2+ years strong. This Saturday we are actually moving into an apartment together. I would say I have great discernment and can normally tell when I'm being lied to or manipulated. My current boyfriend is amazing and he's the last person I would expect to cheat on someone, let alone me. Here's the facts. We started dating 2-ish years ago. In that time, I have been tested for STIs 4 times, including the test I just got done. The last 3 STI tests have all been negative, except for the one today. My boyfriend hasn't been tested since before we started dating. But he swears he didn't cheat and I believe him. In my gut, I don't think he cheated on me and this is all out of the blue. I don't feel mentally prepared to break up with him because there weren't any suspicions previously or any major issues in our relationship. I got a test at an urgent care today and should get my results back tomorrow. If they are positive again, then I DK what to do. Chlamydia is not exactly just a gut feeling. He needs to get tested as well first of all. And you have to consider that if you have chlamydia and didn't cheat, well, you must have gotten it from somewhere, despite your gut feeling, unfortunately. I received a false positive. Was told I had chlamydia after my annual visit, flipped out and my boyfriend and I both tested next day, before I took any treatment. We were both negative. Hopefully the new test comes back and you are the unlucky one to have a false positive. If not and you are positive again, he cheated. You could always have him test too. Okay, so. This might get downvoted, but if your partner didn't get tested between his last partner and you only mentioned that he hasn't been tested since the start of the relationship, but not when, then there is a small chance that the chlamydia has been undetected for years, and depending on your protection that you normally use, it hasn't passed on the infection to you. Infection rate between couples rests at 42% for the female partner. So, I mean, it's possible. It seems like such a slim chance though. But honestly, it would have been careless and rude for him to go without testing between partners, even if that were the case. In my gut, I don't think he cheated on me and this is all out of the blue. Either the test came back with a false positive or he cheated. There really aren't any other reasonable possibilities. However, you are smart to get the test rechecked before making life-altering decisions or accusations. However, once it's confirmed, you really need to decide whether his continued lying about cheating is acceptable. Always remember, if there are no consequences this time, there will absolutely be a next time and a time after that and a time after that. Your boyfriend needs to get tested, and you should also take a pregnancy test. In my very early stages of pregnancy I had a high white blood cell count that my doc suspected was chlamydia. I was certain my partner of 6 years hadn't cheated. Turns out I was just pregnant, tears of joy. Worried we're heading toward a dead bedroom. Sex with my husband has never been amazing, but it's usually fine. Before we got married, I knew what I was getting into and decided that his other amazing qualities outweighed the boring sex. We've been married now for 5 years and I am finding it harder and harder to want sex. It's not a libido problem, I very much want good sex. But at 11 p.m. when he burps, rolls over, and grabs a boob, I can't bring myself to say, yes. Part of the problem is definitely the lack of effort he puts into seduction. But when I've mentioned that I need a little more romance, he says that he's trying but doesn't know how to do that. He gets frustrated that I'm turned off by his loud farts. Am I being too prissy? How can I explain to him that the way he approaches sex matters? I've told him over and over again that, for example, Pushing his erection into my hip and saying, "Wanna smush bits?" is gonna be a hard pass. This feels simple to me, but I think he's frustrated he can't just be himself. So you mention your husband had a lot of other amazing qualities. Is that still true? Honestly, what's flagging for me here is that he doesn't seem like he cares enough to try for you. Saying, "I don't know how to do that," isn't really acceptable in 2022. Google, books, there's a million ways for him to put in effort here. Does he expect you to do things for him a lot? Do you have kids? Do you ever get date nights you didn't have to plan? He shouldn't be surprised you're not turned on by loud farts and a sprint to second base. That sounds like tactical apathy, helplessness. Get a book like She Comes First and you read it. Highlight and bookmark a weekly reading and tell him you look forward to the practical exam after he does the assigned reading. Sorry, it will get worse. Especially after kids, then both are tired. You can try to lay rules of pre-sex. It will not be a seduction for real. And he might even follow kiss, rub, whatever. Problem is, routine will be followed as you said, but shortened and mechanical. And he will be annoyed for all extra work he needs to do to have sex. Don't ask how I know, lol. Maybe give book a try, who knows, it might help. Sex with my husband has never been amazing, but it's usually fine. And there was your problem. You thought you could settle for fine sex and it would at least stay exactly at the level throughout your marriage. But sex usually goes down from wherever it starts. Before we got married, I knew what I was getting into and decided that his other amazing qualities outweighed the boring sex. Hopefully he still has those other amazing qualities? My boyfriend does this too, but every time I politely tell him about foreplay he gets extremely pissy and won't talk to me. He says that he's trying but doesn't know how to do that. Have you given him specific examples of how you want him to be more romantic? Was he more romantic early in your relationship, or are you asking something of him that he's never done for you?